employee to further identify their potential. How to develop that? You have to coach, guide. You can't always doing the bossism. You have to be mentor, you have to be guide of a person. You have to find the inherent talent, inherent skills in the people available and nurture those skills, develop those skills. As Mr. Ravindra said, weaknesses, improving on weaknesses is a very good word to hear. You may not be able to improve weaknesses, but definitely you can develop your strengths. You can further develop your strengths. So you may ignore your weaknesses, but develop your strengths. The weaknesses nowadays called as areas of improvement. Okay, little bit you try to improve those weaknesses if possible, but that should not be the only target. The target should be developing his strengths. That will give you results. Improving his weaknesses may give you results very little. Be a mentor and develop to achieve goals. The goal should be always in mind. Create nurturing environment for employees to imagine, explore, pioneer, invent, etc. Give liberty. Give headroom. Allow him to think. Allow him to put his suggestions. Don't throw away his suggestions if he brings. There are many people in the organization you will find bring very funny suggestions, which may not, you feel what he is talking. It's not good. This will not help the company. This is not the best strategy to have it. But actually listen to him. He may have some point which you are ignoring. So give headroom to him. Appraise and reward. It is the process wherein an organization develops a talent, utilizes its competencies and recognizes the contribution by appropriate systems. And how to appraise? The appraisal in the organizations is a very, very interesting subject everywhere. There is no company on this earth I have seen that has got 100% foolproof appraisal system. Because appraisals are done by the human beings. Ultimately they are human beings. Some part of subjectivity is going to remain there. There has to be some, when we work together, you have, even in your institute, you may have some good friends. You all are friends with each other, but you have some close friends. Why? Because some thinking is matching. Your habits are matching. Your way of behavior is matching. That's why you have some good friends. Others are friends. Same thing is in the organization. You have good subordinates, good bosses, but you have some bosses, some subordinates are very close to you. The reason may be unknown. I don't know why I am close to this subordinate. Unknown reason. You may be finding people are talking about this boss-subordinate relationship. Why this boss is always giving favor to their subordinate? Because he is, in terms of his work, his behavior may not be good for other colleagues. He is behaving in such a fashion, why boss is promoting him again and again? These things will happen in the industry. But you have to have the best appraisal system which suits your organization, which suits your business strategy. A good evaluation system should include a professional development component. You should have a professional development component in that. Again, what are the inherent talent? How can I develop this talent? What are the training needs? Differentiation rewards those members of the team who deserve it. This is where the reward system comes into place. You have to differentiate the reward. You can't distribute 20% increment to all in the industry. Normally, I have observed in European countries, I am visiting Europe very frequently, they do not have the increment system on the basis of appraisal. They have common increment linked to inflation. Now this problem is happening because of companies, European company working in India. So I am again facing that problem to convince these people that this is India, you have to have your strategies, your rewarding system which suits Indian environment, Indian business. It took me at least now last 3 years when I was successful in convincing them that appraisal and rewarding system has to be based on, it can't be linked to inflation. Because inflation in India is always fluctuating from 9% to 15% to 17% to again 2%. In Europe it doesn't fluctuate. You will find the inflation is around 2 to 3% year on year, 2-3%, that's all. And the increments are given 2 to 3% maximum. That is the increment percentage which European countries, European people get. But in India, the average increment in automobile industry last 5 years is 18%. When I tried to convince my bosses there in Lada Boleslav is the headquarter of Skoda Auto. They were shocked to see 18%. How can you do 18% increment? Just not possible. We have only 2% in our country. Then I had to give them all history, how India is growing, what is the India's growth history, how the business is growing. The automobile sector in India is growing at the rate of 33%. And Europe it is hardly 1%. So I said, this is the difference. In European countries, people will hardly leave their current jobs. Hardly leave. Once they join the company, they will stick to the company forever. In India, nowadays, 2 years period is considered as the best period. Okay, 2 years this person is there, I am happy. Now even if he goes, I have no problem. So these are the differences. So you have to have differentiation in the reward system to maintain the talent, to retain the talent. It is the act of confiding in oneself to such an extent so as to get the maximum outputs to create excellence in organization. What encourages talent to stay with the organization? What are those things which will encourage the people to stay with your organization? Values and culture. As we said, values are most important. The culture of the organization. Who decides culture? We decide the culture. It is we have to, and culture is decided on the basis of the, again, it is linked. It is not just HR thinks this should be our culture of the company. No. The culture of the company has to be decided on the basis of business strategy. What are my competitive advantages? What I want to have my competitive advantage for the next 5 years. Again, the same marketing strategy. You can't separate marketing and HR. You have to work hand in hand. For example, here is an example of Maruti. The competitive advantage which they define themselves as service. Wherever you go, you will find Maruti service station. Even at the highest point in the country, they said you will not get food, but you will get the Maruti service station. And that is their strength. That's how they will. And that is the competitive advantage, and they have to develop the culture in the organization in such a way that each and every person working in the organization has that mindset. Even the manufacturing man who is not related to the service should have the service culture embedded in his mind. Now it's happening even nowadays HR, what way we will say, what way we are related to your field service and market and after sales service? No, we are very much related. You will be surprised. I got a notice from one customer. Okay, as a board of director is one part. But the content which notice of sale shocked me. He is saying, because HR did not develop a proper culture of service, I am suing you in the court of law as HR head. See the customers, what way they are thinking. They are enlightened customers. So you will have to build a culture which will suit which will support your competitive advantage in the market. And for example, if you have a cost selling or say like Chinese, they are very cost conscious or price conscious. They will sell their products very cheaply. So if you find any Chinese person will always talk about cost. You layman in China, if you go and talk to him, he will talk about cost. He will talk about pricing. That is the culture developed by the country itself. That is their competitive advantage. So values and culture, that will decide whether the employee is sticking to your organization. What kind of friends you have around you. Companies having exciting challenges. Always you should have challenges before the employees. The routine work doesn't challenge nowadays to youths like you. Routine work means boring work for you people. Every day there has to be new challenge given to them. Freedom and autonomy has elbow room, some freedom. They will have freedom. The boss cannot always, where were you, what was you doing, I was looking for you, you were not there. Give him freedom. Let him work as in his own fashion. In many companies I have seen, nowadays the sitting arrangement in the company is being done by employees themselves. Company is not providing. Company is saying this is your place. You design your own workplace. How do you want you to be your workplace? You design. You can change it every day, no problem. So that's what is challenging. The people are getting interest in working like this. Career advancement and growth. You should have proper plan in place for career advancement and growth of each and every employee in the organization. Differentiated compensation, as I already said, has headroom, allowing to think, allowing to give suggestions. Great colleagues everywhere. That is very important. If you don't have good friends in your organization, then your working is boring. If you are alone working, you may be a fantastic worker, a fantastic employee. But if you don't have good friends in an organization to talk, the person will get bored. He will think of, no, I have to leave this company, I don't have good friends here, I cannot mix up with the people, they are not very good to mix up, they don't have value systems embedded in them. So people will leave. And finally, you have to build self-confidence, pouring out encouragement, caring and recognition. Work is too much as part of life not to recognize moments of achievement. Grab as many as you can, make a big deal out of them. I will just give an example here, because you must have got bored, so I will give you some clippings.
सब यहीं से जाएंगे, दूसरी जगह से नहीं जा सकते। अरे उधर मत चलो, अभी साफ किया है। क्या सॉरी, तुम तो सारे बोल के निकल जाएगा। सबका क्रिकेट आपको सुनना पड़ेगा। सुनेगा? किस साल से तो सुनता है। नाम क्या है तुम्हारा? क्यों? कंप्लेन करने का है? मकसूद नाम है मेरा। जाओ करो। नहीं, कंप्लेन नहीं कर रहे थे। थैंक यू बोलते हैं। सच्ची। तुम बहुत मस्त काम करते हो मुझसे। पेशेंट लोग जब ठीक होता है, तो सब डॉक्टर को थैंक यू बोलता है। तुम सारा सबका कचरा पट्टी उठाता है। तुमको कोई थैंक यू नहीं बोलता। मेरे को तुमको थैंक यू बोलने का मंसूर है। थैंक यू मंसूर है। बस लाएगा क्या? काम करने दे। सॉरी, कोई बात नहीं, चल हो जाएगा सब।
So what you have observed here? What I have observed? Caring, appreciating. Even if somebody is doing a lowest job in the organization, appreciate his job. He will be encouraged. Now we have looked at the process talent management. We will now have a look at the various categories of employees to understand better how to manage them. There are different categories of employees in the organization. There are unions and the blue collar people. They are the negotiating category of employees capable of performing. They are capable of performing. There is a different technique to handle these people. You cannot have the same rules which you use for your white collar people to spot the talent between these people. They are different. Their thinking is different. Their cultural background is different. You need to talk to them in their language. Language is not Marathi or Hindi, what they understand. There are stars in the organization. They are the super performance. You need stars to win. Identify your stars. Everybody cannot be star in the organization. There can be hardly 5% stars in the complete organization. Total. You have to identify who is the star performer. Stroke them and reward them in an outside way. Smart, capable individuals come to believe they are indispensable. Now here there is we have to take a cautious step. These people start thinking that they are the greatest people on the earth. Nobody can do anything with them. They can behave as they want. But so stars can become monsters if you let them. So you have to handle these stars very differently. Allow them to give suggestions, but also restrict them at some point in time. You have to control these people. You have to retain these people.